wanna be with you. Just wanna be with you. Just wanna
Known young ladies who would have been called a rat or loose or whatever it is, right? They're mature, they have careers, doctors, lawyers, or whatever.
It happened in adolescence though.
Yeah, all adolescents, early 20s, some of them into the late 20s, some of them into the early 30s, but let's not get on
But they've never changed.
Yeah. But a man, and we had discussed this in the last time, but a man and a woman, say they have equal number of partners throughout their life and they get to 35 or 40 and they both have a good career, they're both lawyers, they're both whatever it is. And this is my opinion. Society will look at the man as boy, women as younger, but there's one slut. I said, but check me now, boy. He settled himself, he good or whatever, right? You've heard people say this about women, and it's like, but what? I was one rat back in the day, guys, and check that. That one don't even know. I said, I married that girl there, and da 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 da. And the respect is a little higher, but it's not going to be a bounce back like you think for men because of how society views.
You
that.
ever hear society admit this one slut and then it was a bad thing or something like that? It's just the man just living his life.
Grown Folks Only Podcast.
That moral dilemma. Do I sleep with this guy just because he's been kind or he's offered me, what I needed in that moment, right? And me as a parent, to know that she has that moral decision to make, it's heavy with me now. That reality now, just imagining my daughter in a situation, it's heavy with me now. But some parents, and like one or two of you were saying early on, they literally roll that out for their kids because that's how they were able to get the life that they have for their kids right now.
Grown Folks Only Podcast.
What is a smart move here? Should I take an opportunity to be able to get what I want, whether it's an iPhone, a Fed ticket, costume, a roof over my head for a little while, a ride to work every morning, school books for my children, medicine for my father, all the baggage and the weight that people carry in society. Should I be smart enough to take advantage of that situation where I could get what I want and ease my burden, or boy, me, I ain't doing that, and and you're left in that situation and your life is in this turmoil.
Grown Folks Only Podcast.
It's different. A guy might give a woman a help for hoping for 5 minutes of pleasure. Whereas a woman will give a guy a help hoping that he can fix some shit in the house, help her carry some stuff,
And
whatever it
it's the
is.
same thing. It's not even the same.
No, it's not.
That's not the same.
You understand? It's physical but different.
They're looking for the exchange.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Basically barter. You bartering.
So the commodity is one thing, but the
Exactly.
exchange is,
So it's
Grown Folks Only Podcast.
your
So you're
courage.
looking at the chemistry, you're looking at the attraction, and don't forget, it's always the woman who decides in the end.
Yes, it is.
So at the end of the day, if I'm not attracted to him, but he's doing me a favor, he's showing me kindness in some way, that reciprocity doesn't have to convert into
I was just
physicality.
about to say, but that's where the line is between what you consider prostitution and what you consider
A favor.
a favor. Because my thing about it is, prostitutes sleep with anybody. They don't have to be attracted to them.
Grown Folks Only Podcast.
this young lady walking up the road and she's saying, "You feel because I sleep by your home, you just want to fuck me? You just want you think that's I'm not no prostitute at all. But the community know I'm not no prostitute." So I look at her and I go back to doing my work. But I wonder, like, if you sleep by the individual home and he put you up, or he put you in school, or he pays your monthly bill, are you obligated, man or woman, to reciprocate sexual favors to this individual?
Grown Folks Only Podcast.
You're going for a rough time, and I see you homeless, and I say, "So let's come in my home for a night." That thought wouldn't cross your mind, maybe, is sex, I want sex from you?
Absolutely not. It just depends on where you are in your life, because some people,
You don't know me from anywhere, you just see me on the street.
But if it's a one-time thing, right? Or you just said, you know what, like, I see you homeless and you offer me a place to stay for the night. That's not the first thought that's crossing my mind. I'm actually thinking that maybe, there are still good people out there that will do something out of the kindness that they have.
Grown Folks Only Podcast.
So say someone invites you to fly somewhere with them, right?
Ooh.
So they give you, they put out, they're paying for your flight, right? They're paying for a room for you.
For us to sleep in
For
together.
us to sleep in, right?
Pass it.
What is the expectation that you just going to lie down
Pass.
there and go to
Pass.
sleep, or
You
you
have to-
passing it?
Pass it or you have to find your money for your ticket to go back at your home.
Because
Grown Folks Only Podcast.
Welcome to Grown Folks Only podcast. And tonight, we have a lot of tea to go through. So, first of all, let me introduce our lovely first guest appearance, the lovely radio personality, or is it media personality, Miss Solange?
Thank you so much for that introduction. Hello, world. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. And it's a pleasure to be here. Let's have some fun.
Let's get right into it. So, getting up in the morning at 7 o'clock, I ain't big roar outside my house. Now, I don't want to run to the gunshots, but that one seemed to be traveling towards me. So, let me get. Now, a big mug for Mr. Lodge to go for this tea we have there.
Mom fuel. Hello, mothers out there. I understand your plight.
When the noise became clear to me, it turns out that this young lady walking up the road and she's saying, "You feel because I slid by your home, you just want to fuck me? You think you're saying I'm not no prostitute, I'm not a whole of the community, no, I'm not no prostitute." So I look at her and I go back to doing my work. But I wonder, like, if you sleep by the individual home and he put you up or he put you in school or he pays your monthly bill, are you obligated, man or woman, to reciprocate sexual favors to this individual? That's our topic for tonight.
Wow, that
Open mic.
is saucy. May I maybe start with this? Nobody's obligated to do anything except live their best life. So in any kind of relationship, first of all, just because somebody's doing a favor for you, and whether it's financial, especially financial, technically it's considered, the P word, prostitution.
That's really one different kind of people. What are we saying?
They then put two in.
Oh, you guys.
I got what you meant.
So yeah, but nobody's obligated to do that kind of thing. However, if there's clear communication of what the expectations are, then you're looking at a very adult-like contract, whether it's verbal or written. I feel that whenever you get into a relationship with people, of course, there's expectations where the person has to offer support, they have to offer security, they have to offer some sort of safety, they have to offer some sort of guidance and help in evolution of who you are. So these are basic tenets and expectations in any relationship. But when you have feelings involved, especially feelings that lend itself to seeing what people do for you, there's a gray line there that is easily crossed over where you call it obligation. But I wouldn't blame anyone for feeling that way, that they have to, because everybody carries something with them. Everybody has different value systems. Everybody, shows their thanks or their appreciation in different ways, in different measures. So just thinking out loud, no obligation. However, the way you choose to show your appreciation, there's a broad spectrum to that. So
Hold on. So let me tell you. So you're going for a rough time. and I see you homeless, and I say, so let's come in my home for a night. That thought wouldn't cross your mind. Maybe is sex? I want sex from you.
Absolutely not. It just depends on where you are in your life because, some people,
You don't know me from anywhere. You just see me on the street.
But if
I'm
it's a
just-
one-time thing, right? Or you just said, you know what, like I see you homeless and you offer me a place to stay for the night. That's not the first thought that's crossing my mind. I'm actually thinking that maybe, there are still good people out there that will do something out of the kindness that I had and not want it like that. But if it is in the scenario where it's not a one-time thing and this is a customary
You
thing,
staying whole week at my home, you eating my food.
Exactly.
You watching my TV.
It's implied
Carl.
that you gotta pay payment. I call it pussy payment stuff. That's what I just call it. Because
I
what
think-
the freaking else is it?
All right, listen,
You're doing something for me. The most I could do is do something for you. Or vice versa. I'm not saying it's only one-sided because there are males out there
But you
that
have
get treated like kings from females.
you have to.
You are expected to pass the D, bro. Like, what the fuck is you doing?
But you have to understand, some people are not necessarily built like that because even if he's kind, it doesn't mean I'm attracted to him enough for me to be able to just, freely pass.
Point taken.
So we have to build up. We have to build up your
So you're
courage.
looking at the chemistry, you're looking at the attraction. And don't forget, it's always the woman who decides in the end.
Yes, it is.
So at the end of the day, if I'm not attracted to him, but he's doing me a favor, he's, showing me kindness in some way, that reciprocity doesn't have to convert into physicality.
I was just about to say, but that's where the line is between what you consider prostitution and what you consider
A favor.
a favor. Because my thing about it is prostitutes sleep with anybody. They don't have to be attracted to them. There are some people that look past that shit and be like, bro,
You have to
nah,
pay the
this
bills.
guy taking care of me. He doing everything. Oh God, I feel bad. Maybe I could just give him a piece one day. You know, like,
Yes. Just give me a give me a little piece.
and then they think, it's all about him. And yeah, he blinded by the fact that you slip up the once. So now you think that one time is one time when it's really not one time because now he expected this. So, I paid this bill and that bill and I let you stay here for a whole 2 weeks and I got it. Okay, what else can I do to get more?
I think that's the end of this little journey. But Carol,
Probably. But yeah, what were you saying?
I think it goes with. So, in that scenario, someone might be so desperate to say, well, yeah, they'll take the offer because they need to get off the streets or they need a place to rest their head for whatever it is. But the thought will always cross your head unless you're completely gullible that what if or maybe. So, at the same time, you might not want to lose the opportunity to get that roof over your head. We have to maintain some dignity. So if you know you are going to give it up, you say nothing. But if you know you're not going to and you're going to take advantage of,
Make it known up
make
front.
it known. Put your boundaries and say, hey, listen, I get it, but no funny business, no whatever. I just need to get my foot. So you can see if the person is a good person. And there's also the 50-50 that the person might be good and say, yeah, no, I'm just helping you. And you never have that issue again. Or there might be someone say, yeah, no, I'm just helping you. Hoping that as things build, maybe you might, like you say,
Change
it's
your
been
mind.
so good to me.
Yeah.
Let me just give me a little bit of the pee, and get something. And in the same way, society looks at things so funny. Like, you have sugar mamas, and sugar daddies are shunned upon more than sugar mamas. Now,
Really?
Yeah. Sugar daddies are shunned upon more than, in the sense of, to me, society looks at it like as an older man taking advantage of a younger woman, when you look at the way social media portrays it, versus an older woman is just looking for companionship.
Point taken. Madonna,
So
she dates
going-
people more than half younger than
Right.
her age. Like,
The biology of it is women's sexual prime are between their 40s and 50s. A male sexual prime is between the 18 and 25.
18 and 25.
Yeah? That's our sexual prime.
I did not know that.
Differently. I heard it differently.
You did?
I heard it differently.
What
yes.
did you hear?
so how
I heard
different?
that it's okay. So maybe it's just how guys sees it because when they get to that end of the line, by the time they're 55, 60, they knowing they're getting closer to the end of their real masculine and their physicality,
virility.
right? So they go. They take any and everything just in case it's sooner than.
But that's what it is. That's what it is. When they say your sexual prime, they mean naturally, physically.
I think you're taking
You
that
don't
too
need any
seriously.
enhancements. But no, just
You really think a man staying there and think, boy, that might be the last that I might get.
no.
Yes, they
No,
think that way.
she's
They
saying
have
that
some,
when
you
you
know,
see you get
especially when they
older
have
and you lose
girlfriends.
your virility,
Yeah.
you tend to take things and help your hydraulics work.
Come with me.
But
Professor Charles right there. When you was 20, you was really thinking, boy, when I reach 40, I won't be able to.
no, my brother,
So,
no.
You get something you
At
happy.
20, you have to be careful what you think too, because you know you're in a problem, right?
You was ever thinking at 20?
No. Let me tell
You
you.
were also thinking at 20.
Let me tell you. We were on instinct.
Yeah.
But yes, so when you go through it's all just miscommunication.
So Kyle,
Oh,
could you
that's
just
Misinterpreted or misinterpreted intentions.
I was just about to
Is
say,
it
I
misinterpreted?
don't think it's misinterpreted because some people straight up make you know what time it is. There've
Yeah,
been
but we're talking about the
scenarios.
majority.
They've been it wasn't explicitly said, but it was implied. Okay.
That is me. I've been requested, not trying to put anybody on blast. What by the way, what I say there?
To give a roof over the head.
No, you know, they have some show in town and they want a bed to sleep on. And next thing you know,
It's a
they would.
hotel.
It's
It's
your
a
exactly.
Airbnb, man.
It's your bed on this one.
It's on the HOE, the hotel. So at my home, you wake up in the morning and tell me, you know, I was thinking to come and lie down next to you. I say, why would you say that?
Either you do it or you don't do it.
Oh, exactly. Don't come
Oh,
and say
just
that.
don't
Number
say
one.
it. You didn't do it. Don't freaking
That is a
say
game.
it.
So the next time they ask you, you'll be like, sure, come.
But
You know?
here's my
Sure,
thing.
come.
Yeah, because
Don't
hoping
come and-
next time
But
she
they're going to come and lie
by
down
you.
next to you and then don't trouble you
Okay,
and then
so-
look at where you are.
So what if the roles were reversed? If it was a guy needing the help from a woman now?
I personally have never been in that position. I don't think I could bring myself to that position. But in my line of work, I've heard fellas say, boy, I go grocery last night and I know how to get lucky. I some tourists there and they take care of me. Next thing you know, they're up in Sweden, all kind of thing. And boy, they treat our people good, eh? They treat our people good. Some of them don't even know what to do with the blessing.
But so does you know what it is too?
Whatever then.
Passport bros.
Yes. But you know what it is too?
Sisters.
It's different. A guy might give a woman a help for hoping for 5 minutes of pleasure. Whereas a woman will give a guy a help hoping that he can fix some shit in the house, help her carry some stuff,
And
do
it's
whatever
not
it
even the
is.
same thing. It's not even the same thing.
No, it's not.
That's not the same
You
thing.
understand? It's physical but different.
They're looking for the exchange.
Exactly.
But it's
Yeah.
basically barter. You bartering.
Yes.
This
So
is
the commodity is one thing, but the
Exactly.
exchange is, you know.
So in my case, I would be like,
nobody
here's
helps out with
$100.
the
Come and
kindness
wash
of
my
their
dishes
heart,
for me
okay?
and
Let's
cook,
just
cook
be
a lunch
fair
for
about
me.
that.
I've helped out in the kindness of mine.
I didn't say you don't. I said in general. A lot of people do not help out of the kindness of their heart. There's always some ulterior motive
Karen,
behind them helping you.
You'll ever had a wet conversation like that, young lady?
What?
Wet
A wet-
conversation.
Okay.
You heard
A young lady
I
just
have a
come.
conversation.
I
You see, everybody heard the way. Everybody heard the way. Everybody
We've all
heard
had a wet conversation. We've all had a wet conversation. But a young lady come out the blue, she see you look like you making sense. You're like, hey, can you give me some money to help with this or that? How would that process in your head?
If a random young lady just
Random young lady, say you just friends on social media, or you just see the person passing on the street, or you just in a strip club and she comes and give you a lap dance and she asks for help.
But don't forget,
if someone approaches me on the street with something, they would stand a better chance of getting something from me than approaching me on social media or WhatsApp or something like that.
but that's it. But the entry for a lot of people is through social media, through an event, through, you know, some of them prime their target, right?
Yeah.
So you have to understand that this is it. Some people operate that way, right? To get things, to get a better life, that's how they operate based on their situation. But there's some people who are hoping that through the help of somebody, they could establish maybe a relationship with that person because that person is probably very genuinely a nice person. And that's the kind of person they want in their life. And if that person is already taken, they're willing to accept anything that
that
person
they're willing to give out. Yeah.
Exactly. So, but you cannot fault people for wanting a better life, no matter what
The
their
circumstances.
in would be.
Yeah.
Right? If your in is to say, well, yes, I'll, give you a blight today and maybe tomorrow continuously, and you're okay with it, and you could see their life improving, whether they could build a home, go to school, dress well, get some sort of skill, you cannot fault people for that. I will not take it away from somebody, especially, it's like throwing good money after bad money or vice versa, right? So
You
cannot-
basically invested.
Exactly. It's an investment. It's a different form of investment,
Yeah.
right? It's the oldest, how do you call it?
Trade.
Trade in the world or whatever, job or whatever you call it.
You never know.
Okay, so
That's that
make it
person out.
so when I'm
What they
doing
call
that,
it
I'm
these
a
days?
humanitarian by helping the woman
Yes, you are.
to give me some vagina.
What they call it is pum pum
Back
tax.
to pussy
They
payment.
call it-
Okay, let's just be clear.
Give me on for a second. So let's look at it from sometimes it's not even a conscious decision. Because let's say the person that you're helping out is in a situation, right? And you providing them an outlet. So now in their eyes, you have some form of superiority. Or you giving them that father figure, if you want to put it, for lack of a better word. You more like not father figure, but you know what I mean. You could help me fix my situation, right?
You're basically
So that person now, right, is getting attached to you, right? And it's almost
Nightingale, like a nightingale.
yeah, knight in shining armor kind of thing. That's who you are to me, right? Until that person realizes eventually, when you see you actually help them up, you yourself don't realize you end up in a whole ass relationship, right?
That has two different meanings.
Without even knowing, right?
And we
You know,
reaching
that
them
has two
real.
different meanings. They reached them. No, I mean,
Oh my God.
I meant
A whole ass relationship.
no. No.
Why is a wild place?
Continue.
The point I'm making is sometimes it is not even a conscious decision on either party side.
It just
Sometimes you genuinely just want to help the person out, and in helping them out, when somebody becomes your,
emotional attachment.
you have that kind of attachment coming through.
The companionship and everything.
Yeah, I mean, he's a single guy, you're a single person,
Nah, they do
and sometimes you don't even necessarily match it.
good. Certain fellas never single. They don't just watch them and say it like a lot of woman. But for me, the last time it happened to me, I went to a colleague of mine and I say, boy, somebody come and ask, and I asked him what that means. He said the person just needs $100. So make up your mind what you want to do with that. Either you help and you forget about it, or you don't help and forget about it.
True.
I think, young people, and I put young people in there because that transaction is primarily, and it's happened for centuries. This has happened for centuries, right? A lot of young people are
You've had a MILF, man.
are trapped in this economy, and the only, or at least the easiest
Out.
out is that in.
Yeah.
Now I do like that because
That's what's happening with the dairy segment you're talking about, you know.
Lots of people.
Cannot ignore it.
you hear that song, do like
You know,
no
that's
man
what's
she catch your
happening with
retreat.
this whole social media thing in the last couple of days. Young boys need things, and older perverts want things.
But to me, those two young boys, not two young boys.
Well, the person that the videos are around is stating that there is a house in Dennery that has these things, and the younger boys are going and they get paid.
Oh,
I didn't
To
get that.
service
I didn't
the
get that
other
memo.
people.
to use the exit as
So
an
they-
entrance.
Yes.
Oh,
So
okay.
they'll be receiving money and other things throughout the night or
How
whatever.
are you so sure they're receiving
but
and they're not giving?
That's what
to
was that's
receive?
what was implied. That's what was implied.
No,
But it just goes to like what Solange is saying is that young women and young men, because of the way I still go back to social media influence, where it makes you grow fast, want things faster. So if you haven't
Instant gratification.
if you haven't done your schooling properly and you see your other friends doing better because maybe their parents push them a little better or they had more discipline, and you can't get a job they have and you're working at SNS, But you get older fella, whether you're a boy, a young boy, or a young girl, let's say, but hey, I buy you them Jordans, I go buy you that iPhone, I go butter you. You know, you just have to
I'm a Casio,
right? And they do it.
Let me pay homage to an old podcast that I did, right? And this girl, y'all know her, the Empress of Nudity, right? She sometimes when you have to listen to them, right? And pay attention. Empress of Nudity. A solution.
That's
So-
the one that was on the
whatever
international
podcast.
podcast.
Yeah.
You said, Okay.
So let me give you something. She said in the podcast, young ladies or fathers, spoil your young ladies, spoil your babies, spoil your girls. So then that way no other man will come and treat them with KFC or a bus ride or bus fare or nice things, right? And her perspective on that is that she had to come out of those kind of scenarios just because she didn't have those things. You understand? Or her father didn't see it fitting to spoil her in that way. But then when you do that kind of things now, you are persons who are looking out, vultures. They set themselves up as good intended people, and they just prey.
I don't know
on
something
ladies.
good.
What?
Also, I want to add that a lot of young men and women are naive. They know exactly what they're getting into. You understand what
They are not nice.
they know what they're getting into, and after they use it as an excuse.
That they didn't know.
They didn't know. Yeah.
I
don't know. That's what they know what.
They just don't like the repercussions
You know,
of the actions.
you're gonna go call a fella to be a dad. You know you're gonna spend money on you. You know you want pussy, but at the end you say he used me. But you know exactly what he was going to do because he has a track record.
But not
So
even,
you
not
telling
even
yourself?
track record. It goes back to silent implications. Like, hello.
Unspoken
Yeah.
rules.
Yes, so you can't be that naive to not know.
Young
that
lady bringing you lunch, young man bringing you lunch.
You cannot
You're
be
saying
that
so, right?
naive.
So here's the real question.
Is that they don't think about the future implications of what they're doing right now. So they will do it to get the food, get the food and thing right now.
But they don't realize that
It's value.
Instant gratitude.
strings
That's what it is.
attached.
I don't have value, so I sleep with the older woman, the MILF. I'll get an iPhone. Get nothing from me. You know what I say?
You know what it'll be? They'll get the latest iPhone.
Yeah.
And then when what are you doing tonight? Don't talk to me, don't whatever. Or 2 free weeks, whatever. But then now you need money again. Or you need to go to a show.
Yeah.
Hey babe, what you doing? I want to go to that show. Hey, well, you don't know what time it is already. You want to go to the show? Come true. You understand? And then it's a cycle of ups and downs. Depression, I need it. Depression, I need it.
So who's to blame in that situation?
Both parties.
Both parties.
Because the service provider knows
Both.
what they're doing.
Both.
Who's the client? Who's the service provider?
Huh?
Who's the client? Who's the service provider?
Both of them are the service provider and the client.
Facts.
That's the problem. Yes.
So
Because
I have a question when you finish.
the older man is providing the money. All right? The older person is providing the money, but he's also the client of receiving the value of the money that is given. And the younger person is also the provider of the service and the receiver of whatever it is.
But remember, we just take for granted how on some young people are.
I do not take that for granted, sir.
No, they're doing trend. They know
I do not take that for granted at all. I don't take that.
On, you have to describe what you mean by on.
Some of them fake the on.
If you focus,
That too.
that's one thing, eh?
Okay, so let me put it this way, right? Some people, like Nigel was saying, some of them know what they're doing, right? Some of them think it out, and some of them are being taught and schooled to do such.
By the parents.
By the parents.
Parents
They have
or
people.
persons today. Peer pressure is a bit okay. It's
They have people.
Yeah,
They have
exactly.
people
the
whose
environment.
parents prepare them
Definitely.
to do life like that.
Yeah.
In other words, look for old man, look for things. Almost like how you grew up with those customs. Yeah, those customs about the Indians. The Indians, you're supposed to, they're picking your wife for you, them kind of things. Well, in the ghetto, they have their own version of that.
Yeah, or you know what happened? They see the person out
Thank you,
and they
poison.
push and they basically push their child towards that person. He could pay for your school for you, so maybe you can. And then they listen a blind eye to whatever happened in.
Is it called wash
You know, I
between.
just remember just maybe 2 weeks ago, I was coming from before to some clients and we stopped Tomaso to get bread. And there was a looking to see woman looks like she's in her 30s or 40s, maybe younger, but you don't know how that life has been. And I could see the young lady next to her looks just like her, but a younger version. And this guy walked up and he was talking to her. And I saw the mother like nudge her, right? And then they're talking whatever. And then she walked around and she went that way and she was there because the guy went to pay. And she like,
Some people, I'm talking about those who actually now try to lure young people.
Yeah.
They know the game, so they will, come up with some really, kind gestures, and they will.
They know how to
do
groom.
everything
It's
right.
not their first rodeo.
They will do that because they know that maybe that person is in that situation. So they will make sure that, they show up that way. And when they do, here's my question. Is it wrong? Is it wrong because somebody's in a dire situation, you're willing to help them, you're being kind and you're doing all of that. The expectation, is it wrong?
Is that they be a little kind to you?
Is it wrong?
Which bring me back? Which bring me back to my original story. You sleep by the man for a week, and then the man wake up in the night and he just touch you. You say, "Yeah, well, you have to help me out now." Is it wrong or right to be cursing the man out at 7 o'clock in the morning?
I think she's right.
so listen to me. So
think
what
she's
you
right?
asked,
Yeah, I agree with her.
it's wrong.
I think she's right with this. Yeah, I agree.
What you asked, Solaj, I think is wrong. Simply
But-
because if you're going to help someone, if you know you cannot do it out of the goodness of your heart without any expectations, don't do it. Because they've heard so many scenarios where older men in society, maybe rich, maybe have a wife, see a young lady, start talking. The young lady might just have a nice personality and just be an open person and talking and then say, but I could get you a little apartment, I could get you somewhere, get closer if you have work or whatever. I'll pay that for you or whatever. You already know you're doing that because you want to exploit the young person. Okay? And then now you have the young person trapped in a scenario where I'm working, I've settled. Now this person is coming to get the payment every so often and wants to tell me, hey, hold on. Wants to tell me, hey, you can't tell me no when I ask. You can't tell me no when to come. And you do that. So what do you think you're going to put that person through?
So, Carol, I pay your whole canoe for you. I pay your rent, and then all I ask you for
It's
is
a
just
little
a
payment,
division between leg 1 and leg 2.
First place,
And
I would
you
not
can
make
do
you
that
pay
for
my
me?
car note or my rent. I would struggle.
Your mechanic bill due. You like wait is
I mean,
wait.
the moral dilemma is there. There is a great moral dilemma because people will justify it in terms of, getting ahead, whether it's financial, whether it's education, whether it's, a house or
nice
material
hairstyle,
things,
your
a fete, a
makeup.
carnival costume.
Oh yes,
or,
that is the common thing.
I mean, yes.
A carnival
But-
costume.
KFC.
A what?
A box of KFC. A box of KFC.
But that's low level stuff,
there's a
bro.
moral
What
dilemma
about the
there.
people that
For
get
who?
houses?
Now, here's-
For
here's-
some people.
Well, if you're smart, you get an house.
Here's a-
But that's why I'm saying that return on investment.
Hold on.
You
Now, here-
invested in this person. And this person decided to pay you with pussy payments. And at the end of the day,
Or
she
bum
was
bum payments.
or whatever payments. At the end of the day, the person was smart enough to put a little vex money aside and invest that money and make that money grow and buy a house and get land and all kind of things from the person. How is it a loss if they both got what they wanted out of the situation?
That is
You get
true,
what I'm
that's true.
saying? So like it can't all you guys looking at it like if it's all bad. It ain't all bad because everybody going in it for something.
win-win, right?
It's
So,
a
like,
win-win.
so, like,
You can't
what is
be
your
independent
question for us?
and
My question.
win.
Problem comes when, like the scenario that he gave, the argument begins. That's where the problem comes in. So
Well, that's
all-
I don't have to
all-
do with the woman arguing, eh?
all-
She should have
all
known
when-
what time it was.
all
What you doing
when
for
you're doing the exchange, you're fine, right? When the contract is not printed out, you're fine. All of a sudden, the contract going to come out, You understand?
Contract
The contract.
is verbal.
No. The contract. No, not the contract. The contract. Right? It don't want to come out. So now the man reacting to, hey, what's going on? That's when we have the problem. You know, when the two heads
have changed.
Okay, for example, let's say whenever I call, you come. That's what it's supposed to be, right? That's the understanding.
That's how it started.
Right? And then all of a sudden now, in your mind, you know what? My last mistake. I'm tired of it. Right? So now you change the circumstance. So that means you're not seeing head to head anymore.
Exactly.
So that means the relationship is not the same anymore. The terms of arrangement is not the same anymore.
Exactly.
Hold on, Chris. Here's another look at this scenario. If you are willing to pay thousands of dollars to sleep with a young boy or young girl, whether you're male or female, and you are willing to sleep with an older person, whether you're a young boy or woman, as an older man or woman, for material gains, it shows a very deep psychological problem. I think people, on a serious note, I think older men and women who pamper younger boys and girls who are of age, but they're using the financial things to get that are predators.
You think
and
so?
you are, hold on, and you are just above, you are just above the level of a pedophile.
Though.
Okay. If you understand what I'm saying, because you're using your money for sexual gain, knowing that you can trap this person. So you are, what's the word for it again? You are narcissistic in the behavior. That I know this person needs something and I'm going to trap them in a scenario where I'm going to get what I want because I'm taking what I want.
But what about the reverse? Where they decide, okay, you have money.
I was getting that.
I want to hook, line, and sinker you so I can get what I want. What about that instance?
I was getting to that.
Because
so the younger people.
It's wrong both ways.
But that's what I'm saying.
The rich person,
the younger people,
because young people
who do that, it's on a different level. The psychological aspect of it is self-worth. We're looking at seriously. I'm looking at it seriously, Jason.
What?
I'm
That's
listening.
the only
I'm listening.
psychological level for the opposite way
Well,
around.
let me finish what I say.
So that's your point right there. But Solange had a point a while ago. She hasn't been able to voice, so I would like to hear it.
So
About your question.
So I was just thinking, okay, you're talking about adults,
Mm-hmm.
okay?
What is an adult to you?
I was about saying 18. The Constitution says 16 for
From the time you could go jail.
What is it?
For life?
16 years old for
Sexual consent.
Sexual consent.
Sexual consent, yeah.
And then 18 years old in the Caribbean, we're considered adults. In the US, it's
21.
21.
And in Canada, it's 19.
Okay. So
How you know all that?
Because
So-
I went there.
you have young adults, let's
Okay,
just
Drew.
call them that, young adults making decisions that it literally calls on their moral standing to be able to set themselves up for whatever measure of return. Okay? What is the smart move for you? And I'm being very open about it because I want to pass no judgment, but I'm leaving room for consideration of every scenario. What is a smart move here? Should I take an opportunity to be able to get what I want, whether it's an iPhone, a Fed ticket, a costume, a roof over my head for a little while, a ride to work every morning, school books for my children, medicine for my father, all those, the baggage and the weight that people carry in society. Should I be smart enough to take advantage of that situation where I could get what I want and ease my burden? Or, boy, me, I ain't doing that, and and you are left in that situation and your life is in this turmoil. What is the smart move here?
Anybody ever crying me are doing that? Usually the person not doing that.
True.
Straight. Now, I like that scenario you threw there. The other inference in that is we have to define what is use and abuse. I was having this conversation with a beautiful young lady last year on my way up from work. And I was
I have
like,
to say beautiful.
yeah, she was very beautiful. And yeah, beautiful voice, beautiful face. And I was like,
It was me, right?
yes, that was. And I was like, Solange, I have to drive from Viewfort and I don't want to fall asleep, so I'm gonna need you to keep me up until I reach the Castries. Oh, so you're using me? And I asked her, what is wrong with that? And she said, oh, okay, all right, cool. To me, use is okay. Abuse is when you bring it to the point of degradation, where the person don't see what they're getting, or it's not two-way. So that's where I would draw the line.
I'm glad you brought this up. Listen to this. And I was driving in my car one Calypso season with another Calypsonian, and we started talking, and I came up with a few lines for a song I never really finished, but I'm going to share it here now. Marriage is legal prostitution.
Wow.
That's that was the line that I said.
That's a killer line right
The
there.
reason why I said that is, if I'm in a relationship with my husband or wife, and I decide not to sleep with them, not to bed them, for whatever reason, am I in the wrong? Am I obligated to sleep with my partner when I don't want to, even if I'm married?
Carol?
So,
But you're a human being.
So I'm listen to this, topic here, and okay, the marriage part kind of takes away. Let's just take out that plaster, put it aside for now. Am I obligated to sleep with that person still when I don't want to, even when we're married? Because if I don't, somebody else will, right? So, and they will probably get what I'm getting, right? They will get the house, the ride, the whatever, because now that person is investing in somebody who's giving them what they want. So I'm putting it within this conversation is the obligation to now sleep with somebody who is doing something for you. Am I supposed to do it?
No.
So you're telling me that I'm not obligated to sleep with my partner, my married partner, my husband or wife?
If you're with someone and you're married and
No, because they're doing something for you. So my husband is being my husband.
All right.
Right?
Well, if that's your husband or your wife, whichever way, whichever scenario you're in, and let's just say you've lost it for them in the sense, you're not obligated to sleep with them. That is not your job. If you have to look at it as an obligation, then it has lost its purpose in the marriage because it's an intimacy and a connection. But like you said, if you don't do it, do not cry wolf when somebody else does it. That's all it is.
So let me put an analogy on the people.
Look at you.
The analogy is this, right? You spoke about the use
And abuse.
and abuse.
Yeah,
Right?
look
And
at
use
you.
and abuse, right?
Let's see what kind of abuse am I today?
I'm going to choose something that we could relate to in terms of the NBA. The NBA has a draft process. They take, no. They take young people, fresh out of high school, fresh out of college, first-year students who don't necessarily have the business sense. Oh, let's just give them some business sense. But they're young, right? And they are impressionable. So imagine, you tricking them with the glitz, the glamour of your franchise this and your franchise that, right? You bring them in, you draft them, they don't live up to your standard. What do? You get rid of them. You understand? You go away with them. They don't have the ability to say, what? Let me prove myself. Let me steal. They could just decide. You could just decide tomorrow. You know what? Then you ass out of there, right? What you call that an abusive situation?
That's not. So you're saying we should run our relationship like it?
No. What I'm trying to say is that we try to choose what young people have the ability and the capacity for them to think and do based on what is involved. So, for example, sex, they don't have the ability for them to make their own decision when it comes to sex. But when it comes to money, they're supposed to be responsible enough to know how to handle money. You understand? Same thing with the NBA. You're not going to leave room for the child, for the person to be naive. You leave no room for naivety in that situation. You are expected to be a professional from day one. You have that expectation from. There's no excuse about, oh, he's only 19 or he's only 20. You don't get that luxury. You don't get the luxury of, if you commit a crime, oh, he has only 18, give him a chance. Your legal age, you get the penalty for it. So we need to get away from the concept, in my mind, about, oh, you're young. I understand that you could make errors, you could make mistakes, but that's how we learn. That's the process of it.
Hold on.
You know I like to bring in facts also, right? Biologically, we are not mentally mature and developed before 25.
By what standard?
Okay.
By what standard?
Listen, by the medical standard. The particular part of our brain that makes us make rash decisions and the logic part of it is not fully developed until we're 25.
My brother, I almost 40 and I still see I'm still not making some rash decisions.
No, hold on. You know why you used to race cars before and now you see the difference? Is because that part of your brain has developed more and you see the danger in it. When I was 19, 20, 21, I was immortal. I didn't think about death when we were racing. I didn't think about anything. Now, I might still speed a bit, but my mind is on, let me see how I can not kill myself. We used to go around the corner at 100 miles an hour, not worry if there's a truck or boulder or anything in the road. All right? But we do it now. Now I go back to the same thing as what we're talking about. You're young. Your instant gratitude, your instant gratitude is high, your logic is low. It's a lot higher now and a lot lower now because of social media influence and peer pressure and everything like that. So going back to your point, it is still abuse to take a child out of high school because they're legally an adult and put them into a scenario where they've been sitting down in their room playing PlayStation and juggling their balls to juggling balls for millions of dollars and not put someone to financially monitor them.
Now, before you go, let me explain why I tell you a while ago I said I disagree with the thing about 25. I see sometimes we use science as a bit of a crutch to excuse certain things, right? When you were 11, when you were 5, or you were 3, whatever it was, and you did something, right? You were experimenting a lot, right? You push a finger in this, and then you know
Finger in the plug.
yeah. You do this, you do that, you test yourself. You understand?
Right.
Then our parents now, out of worry and concern, impose that, okay, you know what, that's dangerous, don't do those things, you will hurt yourself, blah, blah, blah. So now you have that factor of fear coming in. As you mature, your fear factor increases because you keep being told what to and what not to do without having the experience of it, right? You create your life out of that. When you reach the adolescent age, now you're starting to rebel. Adolescent age, you're starting to rebel. I dare say the adolescent age, in my opinion, is the right age because if you go back in history, that's probably when you were adult, by the way. In the adolescent age, people teaching at 14 and 15.
Let's make it right there.
No. I'm not talking about normal. I don't say what I'm trying to do at that point in time. You are more free in your thinking to test things. You have more independence. Your curiosity was early. But now that's the rebellious stage. That's the stage where you now saying to yourself, you know what? I'm gonna do my own shit. Whether or not you know what the repercussions are, you're gonna do it nonetheless. By doing those things, by going through that stage, is when you get to develop what you think that we have to develop. You understand? So that doesn't mean you cannot make good or bad decisions at that point in time. But that's the time that's a prime time to take the risk. So sometimes we try to shield our kids by saying, "Oh, they're young."
Okay.
And then we're not doing them any more of a favor when you do that. Understand? That's why if you are 19, if you are 15, you make a decision.
In what way? Like?
In every way of the word, you're young. So it's an excuse for you to be protected. It's an excuse for you to do
to get away with something.
Right.
No.
You cannot do that.
You have
because
to
what you
hold
do
them
that now,
accountable.
what you do that now is They have this story about the child that bites his mother head because he end up in prison. Remember that story? Yeah, bite off his mother head. It's your fault. That is the situation. When we start giving them kind of excuses, we leave room for them to be 25 and still not be mature because they're not making the errors that they're supposed to be making in the adolescent stage. That's the time the child have to feel, my bro.
Or they're making the errors, but they're not learning from them because
So-
they're not letting them suffer the consequences.
So when you go and you have a man feeding you, because in your mind that's the next week where you get your iPhone. My girl, go and get your iPhone.
Solange, what do you think about that?
I just think, just to support your point and to support a bit of your point, the adolescent age is an age where you have enough time for recovery. And I always tell my daughter that. I say, try to make the mistakes that you could recover from, because there's certain mistakes you cannot recover from, right? And so when you look at the adolescent age, the time of rebellion, that's when you have the hormones, you have the irrationality, you have the voice has now come out, right? Because you are now open to more information and impressions from people, agenda. So you have that fueled with your curiosity, like I said, because if somebody tell me, if you put your hand inside of that plug, you're going to be electrocuted. Do you want to believe them or you want to figure out, are they correct? Right? So you'll try it anyway. And that's where the data comes in, the information. And you say, oh, yes, my mother was right. And so you have that. But I have a daughter. And I'm already imagining my daughter now, maybe, you never know what life's going to bring, in a situation where she may be faced with a scenario like that in her life, that moral dilemma. Do I sleep with this guy just because he's been kind or he's offered me, what I needed in that moment, right? And me as a parent, to know that she has that moral decision to make, it's heavy with me now. That reality now, just imagining my daughter in a situation, it's heavy with me now. But some parents, and like one or two of you were saying early on, they literally roll that out for their kids because that's how they were able to get the life that they have for their kids right now.
They can't teach
right?
what they don't know.
They cannot teach what you don't know. So in my personal opinion, I will not judge anybody for making that a decision to actually, give that reward. Because ultimately it's a reward, right? You did something nice to me, I'm going to reward you for that. So to offer that, even if they don't give it, but at least offer that reward to that person. But it's the person on the receiving end now who has to now decide whether or not that offering is the appropriate offering for what they've done.
Yes, I would agree with you that. And I would like to rephrase what you said or just add a little twist on it to you can't teach what you do not know, or you cannot speak in a language or with a vocabulary you never heard before. And I've been in situations where non-sexual, I wanted to rent a place and I was offering some ridiculous numbers and the guy said, that's not how it works, Roll back and let me school you a little bit. So instead of just taking advantage of me, the person taught me what I should have figured out in terms of business, or one of the lessons I should have figured out. And even Kurt's best friend taught me some lessons in business and sometimes no is not no. God rest the dead. Today for them, tomorrow for us. In business and other aspects of life is sometimes to see the young person and understand that one time we were like them and see ourselves in them and try not to take advantage of them and allow them grace. Now, back to the point about the young people developing. But I think they have a phase where all the young fellas figure they alone have penis, they alone have cock, they have the biggest cock, they alone have backside, they're on Instagram in tights, they showing all kind of pose, advertising. Sometimes they don't even know what they're advertising. The girls, sometimes I wash in my vehicle and I see them literally walking down the road in front of me, 2, 3, 4 trips. They just get a little ship, they just get a little bus, you see them just walking down the road advertising. And of course, that's bit for the sharks. You have to make up your mind. Are you a shark or are you going to just let somebody else take advantage of it or try to bring them aside? But sometimes you don't want to interfere with the process or interrupt the karma. They have to figure it out by themselves. Let them figure it out or not take advantage of young people growing up.
All right. I hear what you're saying, huh?
You sure?
But
I know he going to come with a but now.
it is your job as an adult who has made mistakes to try your best to give your kid or the kids around you, because I still consider it takes a village, even if they're not going to listen to you, because sometimes, like you said, they have to feel. You know, like same thing you said, child say you couldn't tie their shoelace, they have to fall and burst them off before they understand to tie their shoelace. But I guarantee you, the first time he fell, you remember you told him about tying his shoelace.
Yeah,
versus just seeing him and saying, oh, my shoelace untie. Let me leave him. He'll fall. And he'll fall again. And he'll fall again. And he'll fall again until he realized, wait a minute, is my shoelace untied? So how many times must you allow... Hold on. How many times must you allow your child to fall before you give them the knowledge?
No. Hold on. But you making the point for us in what you're saying now.
Exactly.
What we saying is the adolescent age is the time they will rebel, because that means they have the opposite information. They have the information that don't do this. They have it. So what they're going to do, they're going to rebel and learn, and then now they will say, you know what? My mother was right. My father was right. You know what? Yes, sir. Uncle Carol was right. Yes, sir. That's what will happen. So I'm not saying as parents you do not impress upon them not to do or not to do this. But then, because you cannot go.
But you have to give them the room.
You have to give.
To make
No. I don't say. No, I'm not giving you the room to be disrespectful.
I didn't say disrespectful.
But the point I'm making is, you have to give them the room to make the error. No, you reach there because Carol was talking about developing of the brain. I'm saying the brain could only fully develop when you have all those things working the way they're supposed to work. If that rebellious phase, if you have your child so strict in a phase where they're supposed to be rebellious, what happens to them is that they leave you in a way that, boy, I can't wait to get away from it. You understand? So you have to understand there's a give and a take in between. That's what a lot of us don't recognize. When you could be a parent, you could be stern, you could be strict, but you can't be over the top. Sometimes you go over the top. When you over the top, what do you think will happen? The complete opposite of you is what they want. Right? So by the time they reach 25 and you think that the brain part's supposed to be developed, they don't have that because in their mind they missed out on a good few years. So it takes them up to 41.
No, it's not even that. It's nature and nurture, right? It's the aim of so it's natural by 25, and he was correct with this point with the medical facts about the brain's development, right? The brain's development. That is why in the US they don't allow children to consume alcohol any below the age of 21.
But they allow them to take a gun and go to war and shoot people.
That's the big debate.
And drive at 16.
That's a big debate, right? That's a big debate. And I don't want to enter that debate. But
that's in the same vein about life decisions.
Life decisions. But, going back to our original topic and, all of that influences the decision-making of the child, right? Because, again, the moral part of it, the gratification, whether instant or delayed, because sometimes they set it up, and the weight of reward, because if somebody does something nice to you, you say thanks once, and you have to say thanks again, then eventually there's a level up, right? And so this is a great topic. My goodness, there's so many angles to this. And that is why I think it's important for us to not judge people, not fault them either. Take it with a bit of grace with those decisions that they make. But I don't encourage it. If somebody does something kind to you or they're willing to do something kind to you, I think you should try to have clear communication about what the expectation is, because it's easy for me to say, but you always give me a ride to school. what's your expectation? I hope you're not thinking I'm going to do this, because I'm not. This is not who I am, and blah, 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 blah. So there's clear communication and a boundary with that person. But if it's somebody that, and mind you, there are people who could afford a certain life. They have money. They have what they need. But it's because there's somebody in their life who's kind and just being nice. And there's there's an attachment there, right? Sometimes it doesn't even take a need to be able to want to bed that person.
Now, one more wrinkle. One more wrinkle. We talk about it from the perspective of one person being younger, one person being older. What about if both of them are the same age?
Or what about if one person is young, the younger person is the one that have...
No. I mean, we explore the options that week. But what if it's like two 40-year-olds now?
One of them don't have money, but they still...
Yeah.
240-year-olds. Two 40-years-olds. Everybody know exactly what time it is. 40.
No. It's a very likely situation. I hope you get where I'm coming from.
You're right.
Yeah.
Now, I would like to come back to Solar. Solar, you said, but 4 times, you have to be careful like Beetlejuice before somebody from Denver just said, pay there. But 4 times. I would like to say, back to my scenario, if the young lady wanted to sleep by my home, I made it very clear to her, I say, my girl, don't do that again, because that's very confusing to me. And I don't appreciate that kind of confusion. If you come in there, understand they have a high chance of this happening. And even if it doesn't happen, they have the perception of that happening.
It might happen, yeah.
Yeah. And either you giving it to me or you cock blocking me from my blessings. Because when they see you live in my home in the morning, they wonder what you was doing there a couple nights in a row.
The walk of shame.
They wouldn't hear, especially carnival season, they wouldn't hear, no, he was just sleeping by that young fella home from wherever he is or whatever. Nobody. And I would agree. I would agree with that.
There was
Another thing. One more point. Another thing. When no butts getting smacked. Another thing. When we speak about rebellion, I would like to think it's the time of the adolescent to test whatever the parent told them. So they basically fact checking if what you say is what it is. Yeah, fact checking. Check it to see if what you say
That's
is
the
what it
purpose
is.
of ChatGPT.
That is not the purpose of ChatGPT. But that's for another topic. we have a whole line out for that. Carol, back to you.
So, I remember years ago, I was a teenager. I was dating this young lady who someone in society was assisting them in school. Right? And they would go and do everything and just go chill, school books, whatever. But they were assisting this person from the time they were a kid.
Oh boy.
And they got older and they developed. Until one day, they said they had gone over to the house and and said the person invited them to come and lay down on the bed next to them. But they didn't go. And the person made a joke, oh, you're afraid I give you the thing or what? Going back to what y'all were saying, she came home, she told her mother. And her mother said, okay, you are no longer ever going to go back there anymore. Because I thought this person was genuinely helping you, but it looks like they were grooming you. And she never went there anymore, never contacted them anymore. But what if maybe the mother was not strict, but she was a mother that always spoke to her. So if you had a parent that wasn't speaking to you, maybe she would have done it. Because she figured this person is assisting me all the time. Maybe if I do that, I'll get more.
And you know, it's a weird thing too. Sometimes the person was involved with the mother and then try and pull the daughter in. And then how is that different from the NBA when you're telling the child their whole life, you're going to get this and that if you do this and that. And then it reaches the point where the child cannot perform and then the child gets rejected.
You know, we live in a highly sexual culture. We come from a sexual culture. We have carnival, the innuendos in our music. I think of this on every level, right? Just the Denry segment. Let's go back to Denry. The Denry segment, music already is charged with so much, sexual content. in it, right? It's yes, and even our Creole, it's so highly sexual. And you look at this simple topic, that dilemma that lies within it, right? Is it right? Is it the right? Is it right to do that?
You know,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
No, for me, if you're an adult, not a young adult, let's just give that. If you're an adult, 30 and above, and you decide to do something like that, remember the song? As long as you're jumping up and you ain't hurt nobody. So, if you don't hurt anyone, if it's not hurting you, if it's not hurting the other person, if it's going to ease your burden, if it's going to literally leave you with whatever positive or, closure, whatever, however you want to deem it, on one end, there's no judgment, right? On the other end now, if it's going to completely derail you from achieving something, if it's going to, cause some sort of moral dilemma, if it's going to, bring shame and all the negativity, just if that comes up in your life, just walk away. Walk away. Go to your church. Go somewhere that will be better.
Like, I want to go for a situation where what we're talking about. She only for all of man, but fucking her to stay in that situation. The community know about it, solution know about it. But she could still recover opposed to a man.
Really?
They would say, a rat that was, or woman could be called a rat, right? And in 5 years, she regenerates herself in society. Compared to a man, I've seen women, right? Fellas have all kind of things saying about her. 5 years to change. And everybody forget about that. But for a man,
Where you living?
There are women that do everything in life already. And they still there, like, they still there. Like,
Yeah, because the come good, so...
no! It's easier for a woman to recover than a man.
I don't know about that because...
But I don't agree with you.
I think,
Yeah, it's easier for a woman to recover in society than a man.
In our generation, actually,
We've known young ladies who would have been called a rat or loose or whatever it is, right? They're matured, they have careers, doctors, lawyers, or whatever.
That happened in adolescence, though.
Yeah, all adolescents, early 20s, some of them into the late 20s, some of them into the early 30s, but let's not get them.
Some of them never changed.
Yeah. But a man, and we had discussed this in the last time, but a man and a woman, say they have equal number of partners throughout their life and they get to 35 or 40 and they both have a good career, they're both lawyers, they're both whatever it is. And this is my opinion. Society will look at the man as boy, when I was younger, but there's one slut. I said, but check me now, boy. He settled himself, he good or whatever, right? You've heard people say this about women, and it's like, but wow, that girl was one rat back in the day. I said, check that. That one don't even know. I said, that one married that girl there, and da 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 da. And the respect is a little higher, but it's not going to be a bounce back like you think for men because of how society views.
You ever hear society admit is one slut and then it was a bad thing or something like that? It's just the man just living his life.
Yeah, exactly.
They're just surprised when he pop up with a wife.
It's a lot harder for women to bounce back from that reputation than men.
So, Carol, do you think men can be run through?
Yeah. In both ways.
They say live then real with that. Yeah, I was having a conversation with a man and he was talking about women alone. I told him this exact same thing. I say, as a man, you can get run through too. But I figure, his luck wasn't as good as people I know and maybe myself.
You were just through, not run through.
Yeah, he never got run through. So, when I say run through, I mean nobody bending you over and hitting you in the back repeatedly.
I know.
We get what you're saying.
I know, but yeah.
You have to make sure you make this clear. Just you had too many and you just feel like what they have left.
That is why men who live that life can stay in the same country and not have to worry. And most women who have lived that kind of life have to move country, start afresh.
Man, there are a lot of women right here that live that life and they still there.
Those are all right, not the family ones that don't care.
At the end of the day, at the end of the day, right? You're talking about if your situation gets public. There are people that go through them things and the situation never been public. You understand? But they know to themselves that they've been, they've been a hawk. They've done their bit. You understand? And anybody that goes that way, bro, at the end of the day, that wear on them is for them to deal with mentally.
Wow. I'm sorry, let's remember what it was, man.
Huh?
Wow.
Yeah, that weigh on them, they have to deal with it mentally. And sometimes is what prevents them from ever having a full-fledged long-term relationship.
Boy, well, imagine a woman.
We're going into a different topic here, just so you all know.
No, that's a fun topic. Imagine a woman.
We're going into a different topic.
Imagine.
Let me bring it back. I have a question that I've been wanting to ask for the longest while, but we've been stuck on mental abilities and what's not.
Oh, you've been enjoying your pasta.
That's fine. It's slapping noggy. Check out cuisine for the seafood pasta.
Okay, back to your question.
But back to my question. So say someone invites you to fly somewhere with them, right?
Ooh.
So they give you, they put up, they paying for your flight, right? They're paying for a room for you.
For us to sleep in together.
Us to sleep in, right?
Pass it.
What is the expectation that you just going to lie down there and go to sleep, or you passing it?
Pass it, or you have to find your money for your ticket to go back at your home.
Because
phone a friend.
I had a friend of a friend, right, that had that same scenario where they purchased a flight for said person and
take off my glasses.
They invited them to come somewhere with them, and the girl accepted, and she went. And
she misunderstood the type of come.
Misunderstood? There was no misunderstanding. The man was courting this woman for how much?
No, they have a word for it. They have a word for it. It is a sip.
That boy has the rest come out of my mouth.
I
don't just
My girl was asking her friend, right? Because as I said, this is a friend of a friend story.
So that was not her original question.
Yeah, my girl was asking her friend if she should have passed it up. If she should pass it up on the trip. So her friend was like, yo, what do you mean if? You don't have no choice but to. Like, he bought your whole ticket and carrying you to our next country. Like,
so there it is. There it is. And he said it earlier on. Value.
Yeah.
Value. Yeah. So somebody doing a cupboard at your home, fixing a cupboard for you at your home as a
Jason does that. That's not one of my questions.
Yes, you fix a cupboard, you help with a change of tire,
oh boy, that's Jason all day, boy. Yeah, man.
As opposed to being flown to another city, getting a nice hotel room. Value. So, let me hear you say that.
And here's Bob the Builder. With that type of scenario, no man would offer that, or woman would offer that, if you haven't known they're trying to hit on you.
But that's what I said.
Hold on. A bit like that.
For how long?
Like that is to like, hey, I trying to get at you and you again. Let me see.
Look, anyone ever heard of the booty warrior? I mean, that's why you have to bring up Mitchell, though.
That's what Henry.
No, I talk about that. I talk about that guy who was in jail and he said, looky here, I likes you and I wants you. You can either do the easy way or the hard way. That's a conversation you have to have before you fly the person out. My girl, I want to fly you out and put you on that bed.
The friend
you accept or you don't accept?
The friend made one mistake. What you should advise her is you should either wax or shave before you leave.
Do I leave it on or off? Yeah? Protection or no protection? Am I making the baby? It's simple as that.
that goes to the social media thing that's going on about that. Like,
But you know, after them girls on social media that fly
If you
out.
fly me out, I don't have to sleep with you or whatever it is. There's this young lady who was a social media influencer, living the lavish life on social media.
Yacht girls?
A man flew her out to Dubai. And the first night, she's like, oh, where we going? And he's like, to the bedroom.
As simple as
And she's
that.
like, what? He's like, before we do anything, we just got here. She's like, but no, I ain't gonna sleep with you. She's like, you're not gonna sleep with me? He's like, all right, cool. I tell you what, I'm gonna chill. Look, here's somebody go do what you're doing. When she got back, his clothes was gone. When she called, the room had a booking until the morning. He also canceled her half of the flight from Dubai to get back home. Wow. And went back home. And left her in Dubai.
She don't have no
And here's
vex.
what? She had no money.
So
Her whole lifestyle was fake.
But
So he did all that, he got it, and he just leave
No,
her
he
at
get
it?
it.
He didn't get it.
Oh, he
That's
didn't
the
get
thing.
it.
So he gave her money to go out and zest.
And he
when
just
she come
pick up
back,
and gone.
he was gone.
So,
Yeah,
so
she
is
got
that,
back
so
home,
is
but
that,
he canceled the thing.
is that
She
wrong?
did something to get back home,
She
right?
had to give it up to somebody else.
Yeah, so in
So if you
closing,
buy that ticket, she's
so
sleeping
in
with you.
closing, definitely, if I buy another ticket, I have to come to the arrangement that this is what is happening. And for the man that would do that and not verbalize that, what he get, you have to take if you want to refund this ticket. I've heard worse stories. Or to me, the worst thing I go there is imagine you're married to somebody, you fly them out and they texting their ex while you're having dinner. I see that on a court case. And then she vexed that the man just cancel everything at that point. That is total disrespect and indiscreetness. As for the husband and wife thing, I think every day in the marriage is a day of renewal and death. Forget what happened before, what's happening now. Sometimes you might not feel for the person. I have situations where I'm in a long-term relationship, I worried about bills, and sex may not be the first thing on my mind. And then the person might interpret that as lack of attraction or feeling somewhere else. It's never really what it is. But the most important thing is communication and clarity. You know what you want, you ask for it, and get over the painful what ifs or what nots. And don't be the person shouting down the road telling the whole of Leclerc what happened in your bedroom. Any closing thoughts? That was mine. Good night, folks. This is Good Folks Only podcast.
I say, make your boundaries clear. If you are helping for the hopes of getting something, say it straight up. If you know you're accepting the help and you know you're expecting to give nothing in return, say it straight up.
Yeah, be the booty warrior. I likes you and I wants you.
There's no judgment on anyone, but there's no obligation to do something that doesn't serve you. As well as have a clear line of communication with whoever you are, receiving favors from, as well as if you're going to be the one, doing a favor, have clear boundaries with that person, or at least explain your expectations to them so that everybody comes off with a win-win. Life is hard and we do not know where we're going to be ending up. And survival is our primary response whenever there's a threat or whenever there's a deficiency. So just do what's good for you and do what's good for the other person.
Basically, make your intentions or expectations rather from either side known, because at the end of the day, things left unsaid get interpreted by silence. And there are times when people just don't understand that there are consequences to the decisions that they make or some of the favors that they might accept. So just communicate your intentions and your expectations clearly, no matter whether you're receiving or giving. That's it.
Yeah, I would like to say a special thank you to our guest, our media personality, Miss Solange, who I've only seen on TV. I saw her in person.
Oh, sure.
And when I call you from Viewfort, make sure you answer that folder.
Well, let's make sure there's not a but.
All right. And don't forget to like and subscribe. This is Grown Folks Only Podcast. Good night.
Good night.
Grown Folks Only Podcast.
So say someone invites you to fly somewhere with them, right?
Ooh.
So they give you, they put up, they're paying for your flight, right? They're paying for a room for you.
For us to sleep in together.
Us to sleep in, right?
Pass it.
What is the expectation that you just going to lie down there and go to sleep, or you passing it?
Pass it, or you have to find your money for your ticket to go back at your home.
Because
Grown Folks Only Podcast.
Thanks. Welcome to Grown Folks Only Podcast. And tonight, we have a lot of tea to go through. So, first of all, let me introduce our lovely first guest appearance, the lovely radio personality, or is it media personality, Miss Solange?
Thank you so much for that introduction. Hello, world. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. And it's a pleasure to be here. Let's have some fun.
Let's get right into it. So, getting up in the morning at 7 o'clock, I ain't big roar outside my house. Now, I don't want to run to the gunshots, but that one seemed to be traveling towards me. So, let me get. Now, a big mug from Mr. Lodge to go for this tea we have there.
Mom fuel. Hello, mothers out there. I understand your plight.
When the noise became clear to me, it turns out that this young lady walking up the road and she's saying, "You feel because I slid by your home, you just want to fuck me? You think that's I'm not no prostitute in the whole of the community? No, I'm not no prostitute." So I look at her and I go back to doing my work. But I wonder, like, if you sleep by the individual home and he put you up, or he put you in school, or he pays your monthly bill, are you obligated, man or woman, to reciprocate sexual favors to this individual? That's our topic for tonight.
Wow, that is saucy. May I maybe start with this? Nobody's obligated to do anything except live their best life. So in any kind of relationship, first of all, just because somebody's doing a favor for you, and whether it's financial, especially financial, technically it's considered, the P word, prostitution.
That's a different kind of people. What are we saying? They then put two in.
Oh, you guys.